If you go to sanctuaries.noaa.gov, you'll see this awesome project called Ocean Guardian School. Ocean Guardian School is a National Marine Sanctuaries and NOAA project that gets schools involved in protecting the oceans. Well, I saw this and I thought, here at Chimacum Middle School, we have oceans nearby, but we don't really do anything directly related to the ocean. But when I read more about what an Ocean Guardian School does, this section caught my eye. It provides projects for students related to the conservation of local watersheds, the world's ocean, and or special ocean areas like national marine sanctuaries. Well, we have a project that fits part of this. So if you look at a map of Washington, this blue dot here shows where Chimacum is. Now this is a neat area of Washington because if you look at the outline of this Olympic Peninsula, it looks like a dragon. And the natives who lived here before the Europeans came referred to this as a dragon. This part here is the head. Here are the arms. There's a foot, and then this tail. And Chimacum was supposed to be at the heart of the dragon. Well, if you get a little closer, here's where the arm starts, and then if you go up here is the head. Now these colored lines here show Chimacum Creek. This area, the Chimacum Valley, is the Chimacum Creek watershed, and Chimacum Middle School has a long history in the 6th grade of environmental stewardship surrounding our creek and protecting our watershed. So it just seemed perfect that we apply to become an Ocean Guardian School. We always start the year in 6th grade by setting fish traps. So 6th graders go down to a section of our creek that's walking distance from our classroom, and we set these traps. Now here's a nice photo of a sculpin caught in one of our traps, and the ever-loving crayfish or crawdads that we frequent our creek and get caught in our traps very often. So you see in this photo here, this is the section of the creek where we set the traps, and this part right here, this thing is what the trap looks like. We set 3 of them, and in there's a piece of bread that we use to bait the fish. The last few years we've been catching this fellow right here, which is an invasive species. It's a pumpkin seed sunfish that has no business being in Chimacum Creek. Next to it there you see a 3-spine stickleback, which we find a lot of those in our creek, and they do belong there. We work with the North Olympic Salmon Coalition for years, and they come into the classroom and they work with the 6th graders. So this is the current 8th grade class of 2017-2018, and 2 years ago when they were in 6th grade, they learned about watersheds from the North Olympic Salmon Coalition. Their restoration stewards come in and work with our kids. They also come in and have our kids look through creek water to find benthic macroinvertebrates. They tell us a lot about the creek's biological integrity, so we can tell if it's polluted or not. This picture here is a picture of a scud, and scuds can tolerate some pollution, but we also find insects that are pollution sensitive or intolerant, and that's a good sign. So here you see some 6th graders digging through the muck to find these wonderful bugs. This is a picture of this year's 7th graders who last year got to do this project with the North Olympic Salmon Coalition as well. This is an example of the key the students use to identify the different bugs that they find in their sample of creek water. So here they're looking at what looks to be either a mayfly or a stonefly. They're similar, except for a stonefly has 2 tails and a mayfly has 3. So using that, we can tell which one we have. And those are great because they are pollution intolerant. So if they are present, there can't be that much pollution. North Olympic Salmon Coalition also takes our 6th graders to different sections of the creek along riparian zones so they can plant trees. We've been going for years, and we've been planting hundreds of trees as a 6th grade class. Last year, our 6th graders also got to go to Fin River Farms, and they did some cool activities there besides the tree planting. And the tree planting was a little different. This year, 6th graders potted young vegetation that's native to Chimacum. And this year, as 7th graders, they're going to go back, retrieve their potted plants, and actually plant them. So we've expanded this project to the 7th grade, which is awesome. But what you see this student doing here is by measuring the tree and doing some great math, students can estimate how much carbon dioxide, or carbon alone, is sequestered by each tree in the Fin River Farms orchard. This is awesome because it shows how important trees are to reducing the amount of carbon dioxide in the air. By the time spring rolls around, we go back to our creek, a different section. This is under a bridge, and this is where we test the water quality. So students use these handheld devices with probes to test for dissolved oxygen, pH, temperature, turbidity, and flow rate. So these kids are out with their waders, seeing how fast the water is moving. And if we multiply that by the area of the creek, we can get an idea of how much flow we get every year. And here's some more pictures of 6th graders down at the creek looking at their data as they test water quality parameters. This here is an example of the lab quest that we use to collect the data, and it's attached to a probe like this one that tests for dissolved oxygen. Now, we've been getting data like this since 2002. So students are able to graph their data. So for example, this graph shows dissolved oxygen and how it's changed in Chimacum Creek from 2002 to 2017. That was tested last year. This is incredible longevity, and we can look at some great data and see how it's changed over time. At the end of the year, Chimacum 6th graders get to go to a Green Stems Youth Summit at the Pacific Salmon Center in Belfair, and they meet up with kids from other schools that are doing amazing environmental projects and share. They get to not just share with the other kids, but they also go to booths put together by environmental groups and learn what's being done to protect our environment all over Washington State. Over in this picture here, you see what's called a sharing circle, where kids from different schools take turns describing their projects and showing data and conclusions. So if you want to see what Chimacum 6th graders have been learning, you can go to the 6th grade World Solutions website. It's a blog, and the address is down at the bottom of your screen. If you pause now, you can write that down and go there. And you can see videos and things that kids have learned. So showing here is an ocean acidification video made by last year's 6th graders. And we've been doing this for a couple of years now. This year's 8th graders had the idea to do it. And it's been a great way to share what we are learning. So this project that we've been doing since 2002 is a perfect fit for Ocean Guardian School. And that's why we applied, and that's why this year we get to participate. And if we do our job well, at the end of the year we'll submit our data and everything the 6th graders learned, and hopefully we will become an Ocean Guardian School.